Hello, welcome back to Mirror Interpretation Todorova. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ioana and I am an interpreter. Welcome, guys, to my live. I haven't been live for quite some time. I think it's been maybe like longer than 1 month. And also, I haven't published videos, um, unfortunately, because I have been experiencing a personal crisis. Hi, good morning. And I'm just going to talk a little bit today about not only how it's like to be in a crisis as a person, because we do have these moments, but how to know when you are in crisis if you work as an interpreter, and what I do to overcome this, or how I notice that I'm in crisis. But before I start, I like to announce that I launched my new course. The platform is called Tinfi, Tinkifi. Oh, I cannot pronounce it. But there is a platform with a training, Spanish English language. It's about 4 hour training, bilingual medical terminology, with the slides on both languages, medical terminology, and then there is a section that is like a test, about 30 questions in English and about 40 questions English Spanish. For medical terminology, in the end of this training, you will receive a certification for the duration of the training with your name. The price is $47. Right now, there is a $5 to $7 discount. I'm not sure, 10% discount for the first month. So if you do Spanish and if you do like to have those terminologies, if you like to exercise, you can have access to that training. It's the first link below this video. Thank you for being here. You know, I'm quiet in the morning, so this is quite challenging for me. So, interpreter in crisis, I really have a video on my member level 2 that talks about when you get in crisis, what happens to you, what do you experience as a human, what do you experience as a psychologically, emotionally, and different things that I do to deal with that. um, I do have so much idea and so many things that I wanted to do, but I wanted to focus to finish this bilingual training that me and Jose just launched and did. I've been working on that for 6 months. On one side, on the other side, I've been having some troubles with companies that hasn't paying me. If you're a member, you can maybe follow me. I did publish videos every week up to 3 4 weeks ago when I had to deal with court. I'm still dealing with court with one of those organizations. So I haven't really had time to make the videos, to make the updates, to do everything I want to do. This is because I've been overloaded with those things and trying to also have a break. I also have a very important test on Monday that I've been waiting for 15, a little bit longer. I would say 18 years. I've been dreaming for something for 18 years, and maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's gonna happen on Monday. So I've been also studying for that thing as well. I'm gonna share this after it's over. I'm gonna share what is that about. Whoever follows me would know. So I've been overloaded with things, not so pleasant things, unfortunately, and this is why I haven't published video. My apology, especially my apology to my members, guys. If you do see this video, I know, Oksana, I will make the video that I promised to you to do, and you're gonna see it in members level 2. The David and the John, I'm sorry, Jin, I am not able to pronounce your name, is, I'm not sure, I believe it's somewhere in Asia. If you, so you just join. If you have any questions or anything specific that you like me to do, I will make a special video for you. Once again, because I haven't been able to follow the schedule, Also, if your guys members, I can give you an extra discount for the class. Spanish, English. I believe David, you are the only one. David Basso sounds to me like you're Latino. If anyone do Spanish, guys, there is this class that you could see in the description box below for $47, 4 hours of a bilingual medical interpreter trainings. Said that, let's jump into our topic, which is being in crisis. So we humans experience a crisis, middle age crisis. They have a different name. I don't know. They call it menstrual crisis, or critical age. They call it in Europe, or they mainly focus that on ladies, but also guys experience that as well. So let's talk about. I'm just gonna share something that I observed communicating and engaging with other language providers. And also with myself too. I notice that I do this sometimes too. You get to this point if you do this work as much as I do it every day, and if you do it as a way to do money, you get to this point that you cannot listen. There is no um, measurement. There is no break in your head because you have been listening for so long. That is like you need to talk, because listening so much other people's problem, other people's situations, solving them, making them understandable, being that communication bridge at one point makes you a little bit shrink. I will describe this as an identity shrink, or experiencing something like a identity crisis, psychological effect of this work. And the reason why is because most of your day and most of your time, I feel like I'm busy with other people's reality, other people's worlds, problems, situations, if you want to call. And at one point, you can't. There is no space for you. Uh, I do have some friends that I see occasionally, and sometimes I notice that I would just talk. I have this friend Russ. I know that you don't watch this channel. I know you're watching the other one, but yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. Few months ago, I think I made crepes, and I was like, "Hey, come up, let's have some crepes." And he come, and I was not really like even planning it. It just happened. I just talked to him so much, like all my thoughts, everything. Let me tell you. So I talked to him for like 40 minutes. And then he left. And then I was like, after he left, I realized, oh my goodness. I just say hi. And then I put him to sit, and I just talk. I didn't like have a communication with him. I didn't have this back and forward. Hey, what's up? What's that? It was I felt bad with myself, but although I know Russ now for several years, so he's an extremely intelligent being, and I'm pretty sure he understood something was going on. And although usually I'm able to have this emotional sharing and closeness, and being really there with this person, be really tied and talk very, very, very deep conversations, emotionally connect, I noticed that suddenly I was shut off. Like I am unable to have communication. uh it's not like at all I'm unable to have a communication, but this 40 minutes or so, I was just completely not. There was It was just me, one direction. And I remember I felt pretty bad with myself, and I was like, what is heck is going on? And I just sit down and I just thought about the several problems that I have been experienced working, um personal life, family, all of that together. It was a little bit too much for me. But it was so overwhelming because I having my personal, my emotional problems and situations on one side, and then dealing with other people's problems, meanwhile putting myself on hold. Uh, that was something that extremely like crushed me in a way, you know. And this identity shrink, if I want to call it like that, I believe it happens if you don't have a valuable connection, if you don't have people that are emotionally there for you, intellectually willing to connect with you and willing to know what are you experiencing, like today. Like, I'm not talking about this drama gossip, I'm talking more like this genuine, like, sit down and just really talk. Not only you talk for yourself, but also have happening from the other side, whoever person you give time to actually care enough to sit down and know and listen and be interested in what is happening inside of you, what are you experiencing right now. Because a lot of the times when you connect, even in families, even in, you just go by inertia, and you're like, oh yeah, everything is good, what's up, everything is fine. And I feel like I lack of those genuine people. I have very few of those communications, of those connections, if you want to call them, of those people. And I notice, here is the crash, that other people too. I'm not talking like, oh, I'm crying, I am just so lonely. No, 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 no. For example, I speak with people, other interpreters, we interact, I have several in mind, and I was able to observe them experiencing the same thing, that they were not there communicating, but they were just talking, talking, talking. And one of these interpreters is Tatiana, and I was thinking maybe Tatiana is lonely. So I had this interpreter from New York calling me, "Hi, honey, if you're watching this, wife." And I do have a profound admiration for all the ladies that are Arabic. I just really, I know how hard it is for people from this culture to even work. So I just have this admiration and profound love for ladies from Muslim background that, despite the cultural perception that males should support them, they do and try to help their partners or just work to help their family to be useful, to be successful. So I do really admire you, Fatima. I don't even know if this is I remember you told me your nickname. You didn't want to share your personal name. I respect that, but I call you Fatima in this case. Mm. And so I noticed that Fatima, when she called me, I am very happy if somebody want to share. I'm so grateful if when people come and genuinely share with me the struggles that they're going through and what really is happening in their life, genuinely how they feel about where they are in life. This is very inspirational for me when somebody is honest, when somebody is truthful and authentic. There is nothing more precious to me than that. So Fatima shared some experiences of her life, of her experience as an interpreter, of her personal life, but uh, it was in this form of one-way sharing. And not that I dislike this, I appreciate that, and I keep this as a very special gift to me, Fatima. It's just that I've been listening all day long people's problem, and sometimes in the end of the day I am full, I can't get no more, I just need a break. And if it was somebody that was here, I remember, I think you were in New York, I would be literally happy to go out, go on a walk, just talk, chat. But on the phone, it's kind of hard for me. In the end of the day, I don't want to use no more phones, I don't want to chat unless I'm extremely upset. If I'm upset and hurt by someone, yes, I'm gonna text a lot. I'm not usually a person that do this. So another person, Jose. Hi, Jose. Hola, mi amor. Jose, I love you, honey. You're great. You're hardworking, and I have a lot of admiration for you. I probably have those moments, and I think Jose, he has noticed that. Sometimes when I'm in personal crisis, I call him and I would cry and I would be like, what mess I am, and he would be there for me. I do appreciate you. I think you're not only a precious interpreter, but very special friend to me. Thank you for just for being, But also Jose, I notice I've been like that sometimes with him. I notice my dear colleague Jose also sometimes have those moments to simply talk, but not talk about what is happening inside of my heart right now, but just talk about one gazillion things, and never have like who, never exhale. So I've been experiencing that crisis, and the reason that I have a note is because I haven't done a live in a very long time, and I was not sure if I can pull it together. Forgive me, guys. So, for example, I literally crashed yesterday. So I noticed having that crisis a few weeks ago, and I went on a break. I went to Miami. It was not the break that I needed because Miami was a little bit too party, and I just wanted to listen the beach. I wanted to go to the beach, and it was unfortunately the beaches that I chose to visit, just except one, Cape Biscayne, they were all super crowded, super party. A lot of things were going on, so I was feeling like I was at work. So it was not exactly what I need. But now that I know what part of the beach I like, what part is it, I kind of learned the place a little bit. I can choose a better better break, better vacation. But so I took the break, and for short moment I come back. I was like, I have so much to do. I felt so inspired, but the weight of having it all at once again hit me, and trying to work and trying to fight these companies that didn't pay me, all all of that. If you remember, you would follow a little bit what was happening with me, including some other companies that was disturbing me. I was not putting it together. I was not able to do videos, and this is now I am kind of putting myself back. Uh, the only thing that I was able to do, we were able to finish this class with Jose. But yesterday I feel like I am having too much in my plate once again, and this is why I haven't published videos. And I do apologize to members, guys. I don't know how to give you a free pass, a free month. I don't know how this thing work. I will try to figure out. Some of you, for example, David and Oksana, I believe you guys um, been there for quite some time. So I feel like doing that for you, because I was not present, I was not delivering for you, and you still pay. I know it's not a lot of money, but I still feel like I wasn't fair. I didn't keep my promise, and that's why I would like to give you something back. Or you can get a free training with me, actually, if you like to, one on one. That's another thing. I think that's more easy and more valuable to you. But I can give you a free 1 month as well. So let's say I've been experiencing all this thing. On the top, I've been working, trying to launch this course with Jose, having problems with payment. There's so much things that I wanted to do, and they were not happening for me. And I'm a person that really gets very, very upset when I work for something and it's not happening. I get so, I am a achiever. I am a person, I am a goal doer. I want to do things, I want to make things happen. So for example, yesterday I had this call, and this is when I know that I am 100% losing it. I will tell you how I'm losing it. Not that I was losing it during the call, but I had this legal call, and it was like a restraining order preparation for the court. And I do a lot of refugee calls lately. This is another thing that really affect me, because I haven't shared this part of my life yet, but I saw the revolution in Bulgaria when I was about 10, 11. Communism, then democracy. Like, when I say revolution, if you have seen The Dreamers, the movie, all these moments that you protest, that you burn things, that they burn everything at school, you can eat that they burn also part of the school, including during the revolution. My friend Alex would call and say that there is a bomb in the school, and then we're gonna get a day off and we're gonna go to protest instead. Let's say I had this crazy, intense experience as a child to see part of the war. And not crying right now, talking about it is a big achievement. I feel like I'm so strong to be able to share this without breakdown. But so working for Ukraine right now, it's kind of crashing for me. It's kind of bringing me back. And there is quite a lot of people. I don't know if you guys provide Russian, Ukrainian. I do provide some of the both. And there is a lot of programs with refugees, not only USA, I'm talking Canada, UK, many countries. A lot of people travel to Mexico and come to USA through Mexico and looking for a political refugee. So working this line, it really affects me. On the top of that, working for let's call it, I don't want to call it Russian culture, but let's say talking for people that speak Russian, especially Siberian, North, uh, where the abuse in couples, in family, is something quite often. It's also very difficult to handle for me. In the end of the day, they call it vicarious trauma. I will call it something else because I mean I cannot have experienced all of that things that these people experience, but it's somewhat traumatizing to do a lot of hours of those calls. So the lawyer was trying to prepare a lady for a restraining order against her partner. This is a story time, and I was interpreting. And so we go through the beginning of the case, and then the lawyer said, okay, right now I'm going to ask you a question the way the judge is going to ask you those questions on your case on Monday. And I started interpreting the questions, and within the first 15 minutes I noticed that I don't know if she was lying, but she was definitely not very genuine. Let's call it like that. So the lady that was the victim and she wanted to punish the male figure in this case, she was not sure what happened, when happened, and her case is on Monday. She couldn't respond to simple question, okay, what day he hit you. So if you file a case that somebody hit you, you got to know what day and what time this happened. uh, and if you have to check that information, this doesn't look very genuine. If you had some trauma, you can write it down. I just felt like the lady was not very ready, but I keep interpreting. And we continue until to one point, the lawyer asked again, okay, what date this happen? And I don't know what the lady was doing. She was like, oh yeah, it happened yesterday. And I interpret back, and the lawyer trying to prepare her was like, okay, didn't you file for the case last month on the 14th? How this could have been happened yesterday? And I understand here that she was not ready for the case. She was not following, and I'm pretty sure in court this would look very bad. If I'm a judge and I see a lady like that, I wouldn't be propensive to believe someone that doesn't know if she called the cops because somebody hit her or because somebody stole her jacket. It seemed like the lady was more upset about her material belongings than the fact that the husband hit her, but she wanted to punish him with a restraining order because she couldn't force him to get the money out of it. And so this what happened. Next thing I know, she the limit lep said, oh no, interpreter bad, we've been there for 1 hour. I don't understand you. What are you talking? I don't know. I don't understand what are you saying. And I clarified in both languages. I said, okay, I can't explain you the question because in court, I don't know if you guys have a court training, you just interpret. So you interpret the meaning. If it's a question, when this thing happened, I ask when this thing happened. And she said, oh, well, I don't understand what you're talking about. So I clarify in Russian, I am not here to explain. I'm just here to interpret. And I know this lady, when she go to court on Monday, she probably wouldn't have the case confirmed because of the way she act. So once she said she doesn't understand me, I interpret the same thing back to the lawyer, and I said, ma'am, I understand that you're trying to prepare her, but it seems like she's not understanding at all what is happening right now. So instead of being focused and listening, like for example, the lawyer clarified for her, when you say you call the cops, you got to say that you call it because you were scared of him, and one side, and the second side because he took your belongings. uh, I don't think the lady would was understanding why people do restraining orders. I think she did it because he took her belongings, not because he actually beat her or something like that. Obviously, yes, maybe he had some inappropriate behaviors. I'm not a judge, but so I see that when people doesn't understand how the system function and what is your role there, and when they feel like they're losing their case, I think it's maybe not so. I think maybe 2 times in 10 years has happened to me, and this is the second time. She said that they don't understand interpreters. And I remember when this happened during a court, I had one time happen. The judge said, excuse me, what do you don't understand? You've been understanding this interpreter for the past 35 minutes. That's why when you start to interpret in court, they ask, can you hear the interpreter clearly and do you understand the interpreter? So the moment that they acknowledge they understand you and they can hear you, you just follow the protocols and you interpret. You don't clarify anything for them. If they say I don't understand, you interpret back, and the judge decide if they want to explain or what they want to do next. But the matter of the fact is that when I was doing it in court and she said it was she or he, I don't remember, I don't understand the interpreter, the judge didn't want to switch me. He said, no, interpreter is all right. Tell me what you don't understand. I will explain you. So sometimes the judge wouldn't let it easy for you. And they wouldn't just be like, oh, yeah, just let's change the interpreter. Let's help you out here. Because it's obvious that she's been understanding me for the last 45 minutes, you know? So in this case, it was the lawyer, and I honestly didn't want to deal with her. I don't like to take part of fake accusations. I don't, it's not like I take part of it, but I felt that I was like, I didn't feel she was genuine, you know? And I was not excited to interpret for her. So for me, that was a great gateway. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm apologizing. I do have accent in Russian. I will be more than happy to withdraw and provide you with another colleague. That was beautiful because they let me go, and I was like, that's it. I was very, very content. I switch off this line, and there is another line that I have. I call it the bank line because there is only bank calls on this line. And I decide to interpret for the bank. And you know what they say when you run from something, when you run from problems, they follow you. So I log on to interpret for the bank line, and it was a call to start a service somewhere. And the moment that I was plugged into the call, I tried to introduce myself, and there was clients was two ladies that speak very poor English, in my opinion, not so bad, but they had poor manner, and I believe this is why the provider had me on the line. They were speaking with one another. They were picking fights with each other. Then they would interrupt her, the provider, and speak together with her. And if she says something and I try to interpret it, they would interrupt me and speak together with me. And having several war calls, having this legal call, and now I'm having this crazy call here happening. It's like so, first of all, I try to be cool, and I don't think this is good. I try to play it cool. I sit down, I get a sip of water, and I try to like be useful in this call. But every time I would try to interpret, they would speak with me. And after about 15 minutes, this is a boundary. I think I should work on my boundaries because of that. I hate when somebody interrupt me, not only at work, but interrupt me in personal or speak together with me. This is so unattractive. I am like so turned off by that. This completely shut me off for someone if people do that. So I had this call yesterday where these two ladies on the phone that didn't speak decent or speak some English pretend to understand what the lady in English was saying and try to respond to her. And as you understand, obviously, we were into the process to register them. Instead of that, she was giving some numbers, she was talking together. So, this is something that definitely put me in crisis. So, I ask, hold on, please, let's not speak together 1, 2, 3 times. And then finally, we were at the point where the provider was waiting on the computer. We filled the form and we submitted it. And when you start a gas or an electrical service, if they are not like having a credit history, they have to give some deposit. The system calculated based on their experience a certain amount. All these things were happening. We were waiting for the computer. So the provider said, can you please hold on? We are waiting for the computer. And then suddenly this lady come to the call. I didn't even introduce herself. Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. So I was not sure if this was happening in the provider office or this was happening with these two ladies that were doing something, that they were interacting with some third party. So these ladies start talking. I like to know what is this 10 fee starting, what is the $10 fee for? So the provider did explain that to the person who was starting business, that the $10 fee was something that they charge for start the services to everyone. But instead of this lady continues speaking together with me and together with our ladies. So at this point, I was up to here, and very firmly. When I get pissed off, I become very firmly. I said, "Excuse me." I said it in Russian, and of course, I said it in English. I said, "Excuse me, ma'am. The lady is waiting on the computer. She's working on your request and your order. Please do not speak together with her. Please stay quiet for a minute. We're waiting for the computer. Once she is back, I'm pretty sure she's gonna answer your questions." So I asked her to be quiet and do not speak together with both of us, please. And then I interpret exactly the same thing in a very firm tone, very like that. Please do not speak together with us. I'm asking you, the provider, and I verbatim state read the message again. I'm waiting for my computer. Please hold on. I will be right back at you. Do not speak with us. Just don't do it, guys. I don't understand. Like, it's like not even in the forest people do this. Like when I go to these small villages, nobody interrupt me. Like people, I feel like this arrogance is coming from the cities. I don't know, or the people that think that they're so aristocratic or something. Because if you go to these little villages in the mountains, people are so humble. They want to show you their tomato plants and the cucumbers. And let me make you a salad. They chop your salad. This is so beautiful. I don't have this experience in the villages. This is why I love to travel, because the village people actually inspire me. So I'm ready to cry actually. I just remember I was hiking in the mountains for about 7, 10 days, and I was coming back with this very huge backpack. It was in Eastern Europe, and I was lost for several days. I end up in this very small village. I don't even know the name. And I was walking, and there was this very tiny house made from mud, and this lady come out, say, "Hi, oh, where are you coming from?" And she invited me, and she showed me her garden, and offered me some food. This is what is beautiful about going to countries that doesn't have the modern life, the computers. the fashion industry, the restaurants, and all that. Anyways, this city lady is very, one of them feeling like she's the boss of the world. Uh, Actually, when I requested so firm to stop do this, she shut up. Yes, she did it. She stopped talking, and then the provider continued, and we start the services, and they did not let me interpret at all. And I understood that provider add me to the line because they would both speak at the same time with her. And I was not interpreting at this point. They were just chatting with each other. I was monitoring the call, and at one point, this second lady that I don't know what were her name, the one that excuse me, the one that was like very demanding, she was like, "Oh, I want to let you know, I want to let you know that this interpreter is terrible." she she started insulting me there. I was on mute and she continued like giving it to me for several minutes. I want to file a complaint against her because she asked me not to speak. And she started using some very, let's call it sharp expressions, that she tell me to shut up, and this is terrible, I can't shut up. And this lady is not even the client, so this is a third part. I have the client with the interpreter and the provider, and there's this additional lady that jump into the call, and she want to complain, having in mind that she was speaking English as well, and I don't understand. So in this case, that was too much for me. Once again, I was like, you know what, ma'am, I'm apologizing. uh yes, I did interpret this part that I asked her not to speak together with me, but I don't really feel like being in conflict. These two ladies being quite disrespectful, interrupting me. Feel free to file a complaint if you like to, but at this point, I will withdraw from the call. Thank you so much for using our services, and have a wonderful day. So I just disconnect this call. I disconnect all of my lines, and I just I didn't take any more calls. But but when do you guys feel like you are losing it? What do you do? Previously I was, oh, it's just a call, and now I feel that there is these times, these days, that maybe this planet, the cosmos, if you believe the moon affect the people. There is those days that the whole days that people are like insane, in a way that they go crazy, they scream, they shout. And sometimes the providers do add interpreters to calm the situation down. But how can you interpret for somebody that doesn't want to even listen to you? Somebody that speak together with you and interrupt you and um and bother is like not even bother with your present. How do you guys deal with that? So as you see, I have two tactics. One, pretend that it's okay, which is not, and try to roll with. But I noticed that trying to roll with someone being disrespectful like that is not working. Just want to say hi in the chat box. I don't know if you guys can write the messages. So how do you see that? How do you roll with that? Um, I just noticed another thing. I used to know a person. Maybe I met this person 2 years ago, and back then I used to admire the intelligence of this person and his ability to sit down and talk. I think I a little bit fall in love with this part of this person, how intelligent and how capable he was to just sit and talk, just have a communication, and for some reason or other, this person started to work as an interpreter. Maybe I did help him somewhat, I don't know. In the end of the day, now he works as an I don't know if he still does it, but I guess he does it because I saw the same problem with him. Maybe he have some mental problems as well, but I saw this person last week, this week, whatsoever, and he was absolutely unable to have conversation. He was just there, just barking like a dog, these people. Unfortunately, this is the thing that come to my head. But like, if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't give yourself a break, and if you don't give yourself like a pause and like a suit yourself, and I think being quiet is self-love too sometimes. Having a break and just feeling how you feel with yourself and just acknowledging what you experience is also sometimes self-love, even if you experience a heartbreak like me, even if you experience sadness and grief and being broke or very very sad about something. You have to give this time to yourself to sit down with your feelings and acknowledge what is happening with you. And I feel like when we do this job, we tend to neglect ourselves. We tend to neglect what we feel, and we forget to sit down with ourselves and just feel, just be quiet and try to understand what we experience, what's going on, what we want in life, what we dream for, what kind of food we want to eat tonight, or or where we want to go to walk, for example. What kind of things we do to cope with this highly psychologically intense work, because I believe that working as an interpreter is also a little bit a psychology work, believe it or not. And the reason why I think I'm good at that is because I actually did study psychology. I actually studied for 4 years social interactions mainly. So in Bulgaria, you have 4 years. It's a little bit longer to do a bachelor. And I did one bachelor in Bulgaria, and we study social interaction, body language in business. So how different things affect you in communication, in business, and so on and so on. So I studied sociology and all this very interesting thing. And before that, I studied psychology all my high school. It was the lessons that I would pick up. But yeah, talking about the fact that this is not only mental work that use all your lobes and help against dementia. That's why older people learn languages, but also does affect your psychologically. What do you do to have a break? I would like you guys to write me a comments below what kind of things you notice that changed it for you or affected you or make you lose what makes you lose your nerves, what make you disconnect a call, although having in mind you can say I feel uncomfortable, I can disconnect. Do you wait to really be disrespected for so long? I think that I was too soft here. I should have stated in the beginning that if they would speak together with me, I would just withdraw, or if they don't need me, I can just disconnect. But sometimes they want you to be there because there is this type of heated conflict where the provider is suffering and they need a third party, which is you, to soothe the situation. Did you guys ever had this experience? And if you did, please write me a comment below. And also, now before I disconnect, I like to once again tell you that if you want to have bilingual Spanish medical terminology class, you can have it. It's the first link on the description box below of this video. It's called Sistema Cardiovascular. Hola, amigos amigos, si quieres obtener un training muy bueno de terminología médica, sistema cardiovascular, José è stato il rappresentador di idioma español y yo soy la persona que habla inglés. Este curso puedes buscar en bajo su la descripción cardiovascular, sistema cardiovascular, $47 de un training de 4 horas con un test final y certificado de completación. El costo de $47 puedes obtener slides en 2 idiomas, inglés y en español, y también al final terminología médica en 2 idiomas, español y inglés. Ah, fin cada vídeo tienes un piccolo box donde puedes descargar esto vocabulario médico. Disculpe, yo no hablo muy bien español. So guys, I just said it in Spanish with my broken Spanish, but I do still speak some Spanish. I hope you did understand some of that. But this is about the bilingual Spanish-English cardiovascular system, all the procedures, blood tests, medical terminology, I don't know, scanners, most of the medical procedures that you're gonna have to interpret, bypass, catheter, catheterization, all of these that you interpret before the procedures, and some of them, the small ones that people are partially numb, that you interpret while the procedure happen when it's not full anesthesia. You're gonna find them all in the bilingual Spanish medical video terminology. Thank you guys for being here. I am so grateful we're 4,000 now. Thank you so much. Uh, as you understand, I'm having this personal crisis where I'm a little bit hurt, little bit things are happening to me. I haven't been publishing so much videos, but I am planning to make that happen. You can write me also below what kind of videos you like to see. I'm planning to create some bilingual Spanish English interpreting practices. Medical. I hope Carmela can join me to do this. And obviously, I hope that I can continue doing the 9 body systems in Spanish and other languages. If you do provide, I want to do it. The second language I want to do it is in Russian. And then I would like to do it German and French. If you do German or French, German and French, yes. I will do it one by one. So if you guys like to send me your resume, I need you to be able to translate and to be okay with reading this material for me. You can put your no, you can send me your resume. Have in mind from the moment that you send me the resume, we're not gonna start to work right away because I do work as an interpreter. That's gonna be a slow tempo work, but we eventually will finish the project. Thank you for being here and have a good day. And do like, share, and subscribe.